I wonder what the button budget was for this movie, because they went through a lot of buttons. Once Bitten stars Jim Carrey, Lauren Hutton, Karen Copens, and is directed by Howard Storm. So what's up, guys? With the Halloween season coming close to an end, I thought I'd squeeze in one more review, and what better than maybe mix it up a bit and throw in a comedy in there. You know, because you're really just neck deep in blood and guts and gore and just dark movies. So every now and then it's nice to throw in a good comedy. And I figured, why not throw up a review for a movie that you don't really hear too much about. And this is one that I really enjoyed when I was in high school. And that movie is Once Bitten, starring a young Jim Carrey. Now, Once Bitten is really a fun little vampire movie. It's set during the time of Halloween, and it's one of those great 80s teenage movies about these kids who just want to go get laid. And at the beginning of the movie, Jim Carrey and his two buddies, they go to this nightclub and they're trying to hook up. The Countess, played by Lauren Hutton, she has to find a virgin before All Hallows Eve. She actually has to drink from a virgin 3 times, and the virgin in this case is Jim Carrey. And Mark is privy to her advances the first go round, but then Mark is actually in a serious relationship, so that comes into play, and it's not as easy the next 2 go rounds. And the clock is ticking, so the Countess has to get those last 2 servings of virgin blood before midnight on Halloween. Now, first off, I love 80s movies, especially 80s comedies, like Better Off Dead, like Teen Wolf. As a matter of fact, Michael J. Fox, who was in Teen Wolf, he was their first choice for this movie, but that didn't pan out, so they ended up getting Jim Carrey. And at the time, Jim Carrey was nobody, and I remember watching this movie on HBO time and time again when it first came out, when Jim Carrey was nobody, and I never expected him to get so famous like he did. I mean, sure, he was really funny in the movie, but you only see just a sprinkle of the Jim Carrey that we would know and love in later years. The full tilt, over-the-top Jim Carrey humor really takes a back seat in this movie, and it's more about young teenagers and getting laid and, you know, hot chicks and that 80s humor, everything all rolled into one. And I love that it takes place on Halloween and involves vampires. It's really just a fun ride. But also, I love Lauren Hutton as the Countess in this, who originally was supposed to be Elvira. I'm sure horror gal Susan would like that. And I think that would have been very interesting, actually. But Lauren Hutton, in her own right, does a fantastic job, actually, in most scenes for this movie. She plays the part of an elder vampire who is still very seductive very well. She knows how to ride that line perfectly. And a real standout for me in this movie was Robin, Mark's girlfriend, played by Karen Copens. There's a scene in the movie that's the Halloween dance, and this is after Mark has been bitten once, so he's starting to carry those vampire traits, and he's dressing dark. It's funny because throughout this whole scene, he keeps saying, "I'm not dressed as anything," and everybody keeps saying he's a vampire. And that joke just keeps getting played throughout the scene. But really the standout is the dance. Karen Copens, you can tell she's an accomplished dancer, and there's this whole tug of war, literally, between Mark and the Countess and Robin. That scene is just great. It really is the best scene in the movie. You'll have just so much fun with it. Also, there are so many really laugh out loud, funny scenes in this movie. Like I said, I love 80s humor. 80s humor really is its own thing. It's very different than today's humor. I mean, sure, there was raunchiness, but not like it is today. I think today they almost go over the top. They try too hard to shock the audience with the humor. I think back then there was more of an innocence to the humor, even if it was attempting to be raunchy. And a perfect example is the beginning of the movie when Mark and Robin, they're in the car, and Robin, she's just not ready yet, you know? Everybody else at the drive-in theater around them is ready. And so when Jim Carrey steps out of the car and everybody is having sex, and that scene is just so funny. And also, I love the end of this movie, without giving anything away, but I love how they eventually defeat the Countess. It's simple, yet so effective and really funny. Now, as far as any cons for Once Bitten, it is dated, and I don't think it's for everybody. Like, I'm curious to see how younger generations would accept this movie. And some of the acting is pretty sketchy here and there. But overall, guys, honestly, I have a great time with Once Bitten. I watch it all the time, actually. I'm definitely going to give it a purchase worthy. I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that have not seen Once Bitten, and if you haven't, I would highly encourage you to check it out. It's a fun little Halloween movie, and you still got a few days left to take advantage. And once you do, let me know your thoughts on Once Bitten. Looking forward to hearing them. Also, make sure you join the Killer Flicks Facebook group where we talk horror all day, every day. Like, subscribe, comment, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd, and Drumdum out.